Life will test you. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. And the real measure of who you are is not how you act when everything is going your way. It's how you carry yourself when the storm is raging. See, anybody can smile when the sun is shining, but when the clouds roll in, when the pressure mounts, when people doubt you, that's when your character shows. Calmness isn't weakness. Calmness is control. It's the discipline of saying, I will not let this moment own me. Because when you panic, you lose power. When you let anger run wild, you give your strength away. But when you train your mind to stay steady, to stay grounded, you become unshakable. Calmness is often misunderstood in a world that glorifies speed, aggression, and constant motion. People sometimes assume that being calm means being passive, fragile, or indifferent, but the truth is the opposite. Calmness is strength in its purest form. It takes real courage to hold your ground, to breathe when your emotions want to explode, to steady your voice when everything inside of you wants to shout. Weakness is letting anger, fear, or chaos dictate your actions, while strength is the discipline to stay centered, focused, and unshaken regardless of what happens around you. Calmness is not the absence of power. It is the mastery of it. When you are calm, you see clearly. In moments of pressure, most people rush, they panic, they make choices that they later regret because their emotions cloud their judgment. But a calm person slows everything down. They don't let the noise of the situation push them into a decision that doesn't align with their values or goals. Calmness allows you to separate what really matters from what doesn't, and in that clarity lies incredible strength. It is not the loudest one in the room who holds the most influence, but the one whose calm presence commands attention without a single unnecessary word. Calmness is strength because it requires control over the most difficult thing in the world, yourself. You cannot control what people say, how they treat you, or what storms life brings, but you can control how you choose to respond. That control is what gives you true power. Think about it. Anyone can throw a punch, slam a door, or fire back with harsh words. That takes no discipline. But to keep your voice steady, to hold back anger, to take a step back instead of charging forward blindly, that takes training. That is strength. It's easy to be moved by emotion. It's hard to master it. Calmness is also contagious. When everyone else is panicking, the calm individual becomes a source of stability for others. Imagine being in a crisis, whether at work, at home, or in your personal journey. People will naturally look for the one who seems unshaken, the one who radiates assurance. That is leadership. Calmness gives you influence because people trust those who can keep steady under pressure. A calm person doesn't need to shout for attention. Their stability speaks louder than words. Strength is not measured in decibels, it's measured in presence. Calmness gives you an edge in every situation because it allows you to think long-term instead of reacting to the short-term. Anger may give you a burst of energy, but it burns bridges and creates scars. Fear may push you to hide, but it also blinds you to opportunities. Calmness, on the other hand, keeps your mind open. It allows you to see options that panic hides from you. It positions you to make decisions that not only help you survive the moment, but also build your future. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about facing them with strength that isn't shaken by chaos. Training yourself to be calm doesn't mean you won't feel emotion. It doesn't mean you won't feel fear, frustration, or even anger. It means you won't be controlled by them. You acknowledge those feelings, but you don't let them dictate your actions. That balance between emotion and control is where true strength lies. Calmness allows you to act instead of react, to lead instead of follow, and to overcome instead of crumble. In life, storms will come. People will disappoint you, situations will frustrate you, and obstacles will challenge you. You can't stop the waves, but you can choose to be the steady ship that doesn't capsize. Calmness is that anchor. Calmness is that foundation that holds you steady when everything around you feels uncertain. And when others see that strength in you, it inspires them to find that strength in themselves. When life is easy, when everything falls into place and doors open without resistance, it's simple to smile, to stay composed, and to appear strong. But real strength, real character, doesn't reveal itself when the sun is shining and the path is smooth. It shows up when the skies grow dark, when storms rage, when pressure builds and challenges threaten to break you. The storms of life strip away the surface, exposing who you truly are at the core. That is where character lives, not in the easy seasons, but in the trials that test every fiber of your being. Storms have a way of shaking everything that is shallow. They disrupt comfort, they tear down illusions, and they remove the masks people wear. When difficulty strikes, when you're pressed on all sides, the truth of your character rises to the surface. Some people fold under pressure, some lash out in anger, and some lose themselves in fear. But those who have built their lives on integrity, resilience, and faith in their purpose stand firm. They might feel the wind, they might bend under the weight of the storm, but they do not break. It is in these moments that your values are tested, and only then do you know if they are real. You don't discover character when everything is convenient. You discover it when you are forced to choose between giving up or pressing forward, between bitterness or forgiveness, between selfishness or sacrifice. Every storm demands a decision. Will you let it reduce you, or will you let it refine you? Will you let the weight of it crush your spirit, or will you let it strengthen the muscles of endurance inside of you? These choices define who you are, far more than any victory or success you could ever display in times of peace. Think about the people who inspire the most respect. They aren't admired because life was easy for them. They are admired because they endured storms that would have destroyed others, yet they stood strong. Their character was revealed in how they responded when life pushed them to the edge. They didn't let anger consume them. They didn't allow fear to paralyze them, and they didn't let defeat convince them that they were finished. Instead, they allowed the storm to shape them, to build resilience, and to carve out a strength that could not be shaken. Storms also reveal the difference between image and reality. It's one thing to talk about being disciplined, faithful, and strong when everything is calm. It's another thing to live those words when life gives you reasons to abandon them. Words mean little if they crumble under pressure. True character is lived, not spoken. It's the unseen decisions you make when no one is watching, the steady choices that keep you aligned with your values, even when compromise would be easier. The storm forces those hidden parts of you to come into the light, and in doing so, it reveals whether your foundation is built on sand or on rock. There is also something powerful about how storms strip life down to what truly matters. When everything around you feels uncertain, the unnecessary distractions fall away, and your heart is revealed. Do you cling to bitterness, or do you choose gratitude for what remains? Do you allow hardship to harden you, or do you let it soften you with compassion for others who struggle? The storm gives you the chance to prove not just your strength, but your humanity. It's in the storm that kindness, patience, humility, and faith are tested and proven. And make no mistake, storms will come. No one escapes them. They are not punishments. They are part of life's refining process. You may not choose the storm, but you always choose how you will face it. You can face it with despair, or you can face it with courage. You can let it break you, or you can let it build you. And when you come out on the other side, you will not be the same. You will be stronger, wiser, and more unshakable than before, because the storm has revealed and refined your character. The truth is, anyone can shine when it's easy. But the world doesn't need more people who shine only in the light. The world needs people who can shine in the dark, who can stand firm in the wind, who can lead and inspire when everything seems uncertain. That is the mark of true character, and it only shows up in the storm. Calmness is not something that falls into your lap one day. It is not something you wake up with, like a gift handed to you without effort. Calmness is trained, built, and developed through discipline, awareness, and repeated choices over time. It is forged in the small daily decisions to control your emotions, to hold your ground, and to breathe before reacting. Just like building muscle requires resistance, calmness requires challenges. The very storms, pressures, and frustrations of life are the weights you lift to strengthen that inner steadiness. Without those moments, you would never develop the calm you desire. Think of calmness as a skill. No athlete becomes great without practice, no musician masters their instrument without countless hours of training, and no leader grows without facing real tests. Calmness works the same way. It is not a natural state for most people because human instincts lean toward reaction, fight, flight, or freeze. The training comes when you notice those impulses rising up and choose to slow down instead of speeding up, to listen instead of shouting, to think instead of panicking. That moment of choice, repeated again and again, becomes the training ground where calmness is built. Many people admire those who stay composed under pressure, but they often forget that it took years of intentional practice for them to reach that level. It doesn't happen overnight. It starts with the small things. When someone cuts you off in traffic, that is practice. When you receive criticism that stings, that is practice. When plans fall apart and disappointment tries to overwhelm you, that is practice. Every moment where your emotions want to control you is an opportunity to train calmness. If you take those opportunities seriously, you build the strength to handle bigger storms later on. If you waste them, You remain unprepared when life throws something heavier at you. Calmness is trained by creating habits that reinforce peace and control. Breathing deeply when you feel stress rising is a habit. Stepping back before making a decision is a habit. Choosing silence instead of unnecessary words is a habit. These practices are like reps in the gym, and over time they shape your inner posture. What once felt impossible, staying calm when provoked, steady when overwhelmed, becomes natural because you have conditioned yourself to respond differently. It is also important to understand that calmness is not the absence of emotion. It is the discipline of not being controlled by it. You will still feel anger, frustration, fear, and disappointment. Training calmness does not mean you erase those emotions. It means you recognize them, acknowledge them, and then choose how you will respond. Without training, those emotions take the wheel and drive you to actions you regret. With training, you remain the driver, steady and in control. Calmness is trained in solitude as much as in chaos. Spending time in stillness, learning to quiet your mind, reflecting on your choices, and grounding yourself in gratitude are practices that build calmness long before the storms arrive. Just as an athlete trains off the field before the big game, you must train your mind in the quiet moments so it is ready when the pressure hits. The strength to stay calm in front of others is born in the unseen moments where you discipline your thoughts and steady your spirit when no one is watching. The truth is, life will never stop throwing challenges your way. There will always be unexpected problems, disappointments, and setbacks. If you don't train calmness, you will always be at the mercy of your emotions and the chaos around you. But if you train it, you carry a steady power that nothing can take from you. Calmness becomes your shield, your compass, and your anchor. It doesn't come by accident, it comes by effort. Every choice to pause instead of react, every decision to breathe instead of break, every step of responding instead of reacting is one of the most powerful disciplines you can develop in life. A reaction is immediate, impulsive, and usually driven by emotion rather than thought. It feels natural in the moment because your instincts are wired to protect you, to defend yourself, or to strike back. But reacting rarely serves you well. It often creates more damage than the original problem. A response, on the other hand, is measured, intentional, and rooted in self-control. It is the difference between speaking words you later regret and choosing silence that protects your dignity. It is the difference between escalating conflict and resolving it with wisdom. Reactions are fueled by emotion. Someone insults you and your reaction is to fire back. You receive bad news and your reaction is to panic. You face a setback and your reaction is to give up. These impulses feel justified in the heat of the moment, but they trap you in cycles of frustration and regret. A response requires you to pause. That pause creates space for wisdom. It allows you to process the situation, to weigh your options, and to act in a way that aligns with your values rather than your temporary feelings. The pause between what happens to you and what you choose to do about it is where your power lies. Without that pause, you are a slave to your circumstances and your emotions. With it, you reclaim control. Responding instead of reacting does not mean you suppress your emotions or pretend they don't exist. It means you acknowledge them without letting them dictate your actions. You feel anger, but you choose patience. You feel fear, but you choose courage. You feel frustration, but you choose grace. That is strength. When you react, you give control to others. If someone can trigger your anger with a single comment, they own your peace. If a setback can push you into despair, it owns your future. But when you respond, you take ownership back. No one can control how you choose to act unless you give them that power. Responding is about refusing to let others pull the strings of your emotions and actions. It is about being grounded enough to decide for yourself how you will carry yourself regardless of the situation. This discipline does not come naturally. It must be trained. Just like calmness, learning to respond instead of react is a daily practice. It starts with awareness. Pay attention to the triggers in your life, the moments where you feel yourself wanting to lash out, panic, or give in. Notice how your body reacts, how your emotions surge, and how your instincts push you toward immediate action. Then practice slowing down. Count to 10, breathe deeply, or step away for a moment if you need to. That small delay gives you the chance to choose a response instead of falling into a reaction. Over time, this practice becomes second nature. Responding instead of reacting also builds trust and respect. People can rely on someone who responds with thoughtfulness and consistency. They know you won't explode unpredictably, that you won't let emotions cloud your judgment, and that you will handle situations with clarity. This kind of steadiness makes you a stronger leader, a better partner, and a more dependable friend. Reactions might win the moment, but responses win the long game. They protect relationships, they preserve opportunities, and they strengthen your reputation. It is important to understand that responding doesn't mean doing nothing. It doesn't mean ignoring problems or being passive. A response can be firm, decisive, and even bold, but it comes from a place of intention rather than impulse. A response is guided by principle, while a reaction is guided by emotion. The difference may seem small in the moment, but the outcomes are vastly different. One creates regret, the other creates growth. Every day, life will give you opportunities to either react or respond. Someone will test your patience, a challenge will shake your confidence, or an obstacle will block your path. Those moments are not just random inconveniences, they are training grounds. Each time you choose to respond instead of react, you strengthen the muscle of self-control. You prove to yourself that you are not a victim of circumstance, but the master of your choices. And in that mastery lies true freedom. A calm mind is one of the greatest advantages you can carry through life. When your mind is steady, your vision sharpens, and your decisions become clearer. Chaos and confusion have a way of clouding judgment, of making problems seem bigger than they are, and of tricking you into reacting out of fear or frustration. But a calm mind cuts through the noise. It sees reality for what it is, not for what your emotions exaggerate it to be. With that clarity, you make choices that move you forward instead of choices that create regret. Think about how many poor decisions are made in the heat of the moment. People quit when they should endure. They lash out when they should hold back. They spend recklessly when they should save, or they stay silent when they should speak up. These mistakes aren't made because people are incapable. They are made because the mind was not calm. A restless, agitated mind exaggerates threats, magnifies fear, and distorts perspective. But when the mind is calm, you see the whole picture. You can separate what matters from what doesn't. You can tell the difference between temporary discomfort and true danger. Calmness gives you wisdom that stress hides. A calm mind is not just about decision-making, it is about power. Real power is not about controlling others, it is about controlling yourself. If you cannot master your own thoughts, if you are constantly at the mercy of stress, fear, and anger, then you are not free. But when your mind is calm, you own yourself. You decide how to think, how to act, and how to move forward. That inner control is far more powerful than any external force, because it means nothing outside of you can shake what is within you. Calmness also strengthens your resilience. Life will always bring pressure. Deadlines will loom. Relationships will be tested. Setbacks will arrive without warning. An unsettled mind collapses under that weight, but a calm mind bends without breaking. It absorbs the shock, it steadies itself, and it finds a path forward. This kind of inner strength does not eliminate challenges, but it makes you unshakable in the face of them. The waves may crash, but you are the rock that stands unmoved. That is the power of a calm mind. It allows you to endure storms without losing yourself in them. When your mind is calm, you also open space for creativity and problem solving. Stress narrows your vision, it makes you focus only on what's wrong. Calmness broadens your perspective, allowing you to see possibilities you would otherwise miss. Many of the greatest solutions, ideas, and breakthroughs come not from frantic effort, but from stillness. When the mind is calm, the noise quiets and clarity rises. You begin to see answers that were always there, but hidden behind your own mental turbulence. Another hidden strength of a calm mind is how it affects those around you. Calmness radiates. When others are panicked, your steady presence can restore order. People trust those who remain calm under pressure because it signals confidence and control. It tells them you are not easily shaken, that you can handle what comes without losing your direction. This influence is a form of leadership, one that does not need shouting or force, but commands respect through stability. A calm mind doesn't just strengthen you, it strengthens everyone connected to you. Of course, calmness does not mean you never feel emotion or that you never face stress. It means you do not let those emotions rule you. Fear may whisper, anger may rise, and doubt may creep in, but calmness allows you to acknowledge those feelings without being mastered by them. It is the discipline of stepping back, breathing deeply, and reminding yourself of your values before acting. It is the strength of knowing that storms are temporary, but the consequences of reckless decisions are not. To live with a calm mind is to live with inner power. That power keeps you clear when others are lost, steady when others are shaken, and strong when others collapse. It is not given to you by chance. It is built by choice, by daily discipline, by practicing patience, and by learning to trust yourself even in uncertainty. And the more you train it, the more you will realize that nothing outside of you has the power to defeat you. as long as you remain calm within.